Good afternoon, everyone. I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum of voting members, so I think we're ready to roll. First item of business is the approval of the agenda. I don't believe we have any changes to the current agenda, so if someone would make a motion.
Mayor Dixon, I'll move we approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second. Oh.
Okay, we have a second for Mr. Bailey. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Next item is public comment for items not on the agenda. Do we have anyone in the audience today that would like to make a comment on a topic that is not on the agenda? Do we have anyone online that wishes to comment? Okay. Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Item 4 is the approval of the minutes from the July 9th meeting. You all have a copy of those minutes in your packets and hopefully have had a chance to review. Are there any changes, comments, corrections? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Yeah, motion moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second from Commissioner Applegate. Any discussion on that? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next up is the Citizens Advisory Committee monthly report. Jim.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Mr. Chair, Jen Godfrey, Chair of the CAC. Last week at our meeting, we approved a recommendation for Colorado Springs' 5 contracts. Good discussion, and city did a great job of filling in and answering any questions. Same with El Paso County. Josh did a good job of explaining what he was wanting, and we make a recommendation to approve both of their requests. Josh did have a line item transfer that's on your agenda. And he explained that we have no problem with moving it from one project to another as described. We did have a discussion and Karen presented Manitou Springs IGA for the reimbursement of eligible expenditures for Hiawatha Gardens. You guys have been discussing that for a couple of months, and we do make a recommendation to approve that IGA as presented to make RTA a co-partner in that agreement. So we recommend approval of that. And then Colorado Springs RTA to serve as a grant recipient for Senate bills, some of that state and federal money with Pikes Peak Center. So good presentation on that, and we recommend approval of that request as well. So I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thanks, Jim. Any questions? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Moving along to item 6, financial reports.
Lisa Corey, Finance Manager for the PPRTA. The sales and use tax and reporting is the collections in June. We received $13,933,567, which did come in above our monthly budget by $643,482 or 4.8%. When we look at June collections this year compared to June last year, we collected $69,582 more this year than last year, which is 0.5%. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay.
All right.
That was an informational item, so unless Lisa has anything else, we'll move on to item 7, which is the 2025 capital maintenance and public transportation contracts. First up, City of Colorado Springs.
Hello, Mr. Chair, Gail Sturdivant with the City of Colorado Springs. As Mr. Godfrey mentioned, we have 5 contracts for your consideration today. The first 2, I'm going to give a little description of together. They are both for the Academy Boulevard Reconstruction Project. It is an RTA 2 A-list project. The first line item is, and there's a map included in your pack to show you what segment of that is from Fountain and Milton Proby Parkway. The first contract is for construction management and inspection services. The city went through an RFP process where we had 5 respondents and we selected WSP to perform that work. That would be in a contract amount of $4,400,000 $3,256.40. The second contract is for construction. The city went through an RFP process. We had 3 respondents. The selected respondent is SEMA Construction. We are asking for approval of not to exceed of $22 million to complete phase 1 of this work. Just due to the nature and the size of this project, we're splitting this into at least 2 phases. The first phase will be a lot of the underground utility work that needs to be done. And then the second phase will be a lot of the rest of the roadway maintenance that will come along with it. But we want the ability to bring the contractor on and work on some value engineering ideas with them to see if we can save more money on the overall cost of construction for this project. The city's third contract is also for an RTA2 A-list project. It's for the Union Pacific Mainline Bridge over Fontenarrow Bridge replacement. There's a map included in your packet where this is located. That is, though, if you're familiar with what's now the Centennial exit, the bridge itself is right there to the east side of that exit as you go into the city's Fontenarrow yard. This is actually to help us just slightly to the north of that off of Steel Street, where it comes on the north side of the Colorado Springs Utility City facility, where we're going to have to do some rail improvements to get access to the north side of that site during construction of our bridges. Right now, there's an existing rail crossing back there that's inadequate, so we need to do some extensive engineering and coordination with the railroads to make that happen. So the cost to do that engineering work and help us with a lot of that coordination is $344,491.75, and that would be included as a change order to HDR's contract. The city's fourth contract is for the Glenview wall replacement. This is work that's being performed under maintenance activities where we have retaining walls that support transportation structures. In this case, and this is desperately in need of some repair and replacement. There's a map included in your packet for this. The city went through an RFP process where we had 3 respondents. We selected RJ Gleason to perform the work. And if you can see on the memo, we're actually splitting this in funding from 2 maintenance accounts. One, we used to bundle all of our maintenance, that kind of transportation wise, in one line item. We've now broken it up in 25 to show specifically our wall program where we need to do these things related to our right-of-way preservation. So that's why you see 2 account numbers on the memo. And then the city's last contract is for the Sit and Trail crossing at Centennial. This is a project that was improved under Policy 21 in 2022. We now have all the grant agreements in place between PPRTA and CDOT, and the IGA in place between PPRTA and the city. The grant funds that are received cover 50% of our costs of the project. And we put those monies, and they've been budgeted in the RTA 3 Sit and Trail program. So you will see those monies as they get budgeted. That's how we're able to obligate the grant funding through PPRTA. Just realized there was a typo in here. I can spell engineering, although as an engineer, spelling is a little difficult sometimes. So the total amount, this is actually just for the engineering. The city went through an RFP process. We did make a selection. I think we had 7 respondents, as I recall. Alfred Benish and Associates, and their total contract now would be $816,771. And this is split between the grant funds coming through reimbursement to PPRTA, and the other half is actually from the city's general fund that's already been budgeted and appropriated. So those are the city's 5 contracts. I'm happy to answer questions.
Thanks, Gail. Are there any questions, Corey?
So on item 1 and 2, the Academy Boulevard, that was a reconstruction, right? Because there was a contractor that had worked on that previously, correct?
Yes and no. There was a contract that was identified to be awarded on it.
But I mean, work has been done on this road within the last couple years, right? Because there was work going on that road.
There was work going on mostly to the north. There was a small bit of water line work that was originally done by our first contractor.
Correct.
That we had them curtail that, but that's all they really did was some water line work. So It is incomplete, so the rest of the water line work will be completed with this.
But they were responsible for the roads when they did their project, when they were working on the water lines,
They were, they
or
did,
no?
we de-scoped the road work from their contract.
D-scope, what does that mean?
We moved, they were originally contracted to perform construction, full construction on that road.
Uh-huh.
For various reasons, we realized that they were not performing in the fashion we would like them to, and we were not
Right.
going to compensate them in the fashion they wanted to be compensated to finish the work. So we chose to amicably break up, if it was, and basically terminate their contract or close out their contract. So we removed most of that work for that southern segment between Fountain and Milton Propey Parkway from their contract. And so we went and repackaged it and recompeted it. And we, like I said, we got 3 contractors that came back and bid on the work.
Okay. And so that original contractor is not working on anything with any of
No.
this?
No,
Correct. Okay.
100% not
For
working.
disclosure. Okay. Because I was going to say that whole thing was a mess and that whole road got tore up for a long time. And I know they were making mistakes over there. So,
Yes.
okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for Gail?
Can I mention one more thing?
Please.
While we're talking about this, I was going to say this to the end, but I want to mention, if you're interested in this project, or if it's in your area, we are going to have a pre-construction open house on September 9th from 5 to 7. It is at the Pikes Peak United Way Family Success Center. So we'd love to see you be able to pop in, see the team, see your constituents in that area, and when they're learning more from our team about what's going to be happening during construction of this phase.
Very good.
It is open to the public, yep. And you will start seeing, in fact, we just sent out a notice, the first of the early notices today, and you'll start seeing formal notices and invitations about that meeting on September 9th.
Okay. Any other questions for Gail? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion then to approve item A, City of Colorado Springs contracts. Oh, I need a motion.
Go ahead. Motion.
Okay. And you might want to use your mic, just for folks that are online to be able to hear. Yep. So we have a motion from Kimberly Gold,
I'll second.
and we have a second from Corey Applegate.
Corey.
Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Okay, very good. Before we actually move on to item B, El Paso County, timing could not be better. I wanted to welcome Lauren Nelson, who was appointed recently as the District 5 County Commissioner and was anointed, I don't know what the term is, to be the voting liaison, one of the 3 voting liaisons from El Paso County. So welcome, Lauren. We're excited that you're here and we look forward to your involvement and contribution to PPRTA.
Thank you. Apologies for being late. I just came from a housing authority meeting, so I will be trying to figure out the schedule as I get on board with these committees, but I look forward to working and learning more about PPRTA and making sure those tax dollars are being used appropriately. Thanks so much.
Excellent. Well, welcome. And like I said, perfect timing because we're just about to talk about the capital maintenance and public transportation contracts for El Paso County.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Josh Palmer, El Paso County County Engineer. The county has 5 contracts to bring before you today. The first is for North Callahan Highway. This is a PPRTA 3 A-list project. We're recommending approval for a design contract to FHU in the amount of $241,000, $241,275. And as you can see in your map, the project limits actually cross. In blue there is county-owned and maintained infrastructure, and in red is actually the town of Callahan. But because of the impacts to all the activities at the fairgrounds, we thought it was made practical sense to improve this portion of Callahan Highway from 24 to Paint Mines Road. Yeah, you see the thumbs up there. And we did a little bit of work in advance of the fair this year, but we're going to go back in and sidewalk, curb and gutter, drainage, regrading, repaving. So we'll do some major improvements after the minor kind of stopgap improvements we made over the summer. The second contract is for the Beacon Light Road. This is the south phase, the blue phase on your map there. This is for a construction contract and purchase order to Capital Paving and Construction in the amount of $8,215,287.98. If you recall from previous discussions about this project, we split this project into phases to account for and wait on a final determination as to what may or may not happen with the travel center that is being proposed at the southwest corner of I-25 and County Line Road. So in order to mitigate and remove any redundancies or throwaway work, and hopefully, if it goes through, save the county some money on work that would then be the developer's responsibility, we split this project into two phases. And this first phase is the larger portion in blue that we are ready to go to construction with. The third contract we're bringing for you today is for the Manola Street storm drain repairs. This is contract and purchase order in the amount of $68,494 to Amriz West, which is formerly Wholesome. The county has some storm drain infrastructure you can see kind of highlighted in red on the map, and the storm drain failed and caused a little bit of a sinkhole. So we're going out there to replace and repair the storm drain line and backfill and replace the little sinkhole that's developed there. The fourth contract, again for Beacon Light, the cover memo for the county incorrectly identifies this as for the south phase. It's actually for the north phase in orange. As part of our efforts for this phase or this portion of the project, we needed to acquire an easement on the north side of County Line Road. The north side of County Line Road is Douglas County, and this area is in a conservation easement. So we had to hire outside counsel to support our friendly condemnation. And that's a heavy word, but it's not a condemnation. It's just a legal process by which we have to go through to acquire property through a conservation easement or a conservation group that manages that property to the north. So the expertise was outside of the area of our county attorney's office. So we had to hire outside counsel to support. So this is a contract amendment in the amount of $38,200 to Hammer, Rodriguez, Ostrander, and Prescott for the condemnation and legal support. And just kind of a bit of additional information. After this work that they are performing, we're going to hit the pause button on proceeding any further just because of the unknown. We don't want to the county doesn't want to get in the middle of what may or may not be going on between Palmer Lake and what the conservation group may or may not like about what may end up happening. So after this work, we're going to hit the pause button and wait until we know what's going to happen further. If it ends up remaining a county-owned road and remaining a county project, we'll continue on with the condemnation processes with Douglas County, with the conservation group. But if that changes, we don't want to continue to spend money for legal support on something that may or may not be needed. A little bit background on what Buc-ee's may or may not be doing. A proposal from them for infrastructure improvements is slightly different than what we would do. Our current configuration keeps that at a T intersection where Beacon Light tees into County Line Road. What the travel center is proposing, if it's annexed into Palmer Lake, would be to realign and have County Line Road curve around and continue into Beacon Light and have the west leg of County Line tee into that curve. So the conservation easement or the temporary easement that we would need from the conservation group may or may not be required if Buc-ee's does come in and changes their configuration. So we didn't want to continue to spend money or do any work that may or may not be needed. So after this work that's accounted for in this amendment, contract amendment, we're going to be pausing any additional work with this legal counsel and with Douglas County until we know what's going to happen. That was a very long-winded explanation about this contract amendment. The fifth contract we have is again for Beacon Light, and is correct in the south phase for material testing services to Kumar and Associates for $61,975. And this is just to provide materials testing during the construction of the south phase of this project. So those are the 5 contracts that we have today, and I'd be willing to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Yeah, Todd.
You mentioned hitting the pause button because of what's happening. Are all of these kind of independent of what might be happening?
Yep. So we split this out as the north phase because this accounts for the limits of what the Buc-ee's would be responsible for improving.
Okay.
So basically the south phase of the projects goes up to the southern limit of that parcel. That's the adjacent limits of the roadway that the Buc-ee's would be responsible for improving. So we carved that out of the overall project. We have our design already done, but we didn't want to go any further. We don't want to start construction on something that may be throwaway work. The legal process to condemn or to acquire the easement that we needed has been going on for 2.5, almost 3 years now. It's a very long process. So it's not complete yet, but because we don't know what's going to happen with that project, we didn't want to continue to spend money pursuing the easement and the legal processes to acquire it until we know what's going to happen, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, I would entertain a motion.
So moved to approve.
Is there a
Second, John Graham.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Thank you. 7C is El Paso County Capital Projects line item transfer.
Sorry, I'm just scrolling down through my pages.
No problem.
Again, Josh Palmer, County Engineer. So this is kind of a 2-part request for approval. We would like to increase the phase 1 pre-construction funding in our PPRTA 3 program increase it by $850,000, and we would like to accomplish that by doing a line item transfer from our phase 1 safety and multimodal program. So no additional money, is just moving it from one program fund into another. And when we budgeted out for this year, we had 3 or 4 projects in mind that we're going to draw from this safety and multimodal program. And as those projects, as the scopes for those projects became clear, we actually came in quite a bit under budgeted. So all of the projects that we were planning to fund with this program this year will still get funded. We just want to move it into a different program to advance some of our other pre-construction projects. Willing to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Josh on that? Okay, thanks.
I will move approval.
Very good. Is there a second?
Mayor Dixon, second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. 7D, City of Manitou Springs IGA with PPRTA for reimbursement of eligible expenses for the Hiawatha Gardens project. Good afternoon.
Hello, my name is Karen Rowe. I am City Manitou Springs PPRTA representative. So this memo pretty much summarizes it all, but I'll try to articulate what I'm asking for here is that the board approved the contracts with Workshop 40 for the work that was done last year, 2024. The city submitted the invoices from Workshop 40. And when we did that, we recognized that the contracts weren't in place for the 3-party, the insurance to indemnify PPRTA wasn't in place. So instead of trying to go back and retrofit the contracts in order to pay the invoices, PPRTA attorney talked with the City Manitou Springs attorney, and they agreed that this IGA would allow PPRTA then to reimburse the city for the expenses. So the one thing to note is that the contracts were higher amount approved as a higher amount, but the actual money spent on the project under the contracts was less. So I took all the agreed upon percentages based on the invoices, and the total amount due to the city is $130,351.88. So we're asking for your approval to sign the IGA so the city of Manitou Springs can get reimbursed.
I think the PPRTA attorney, Jennifer Ivy, is online. Jennifer, I don't know if you want to add anything else to that or.
Yeah, I mean, Karen summarized it very well. It was the path of least resistance to sort of go away from the usual protocol of having the three-party agreements after the fact. So what's before you really just explains that this, error oversight was made. The amounts that are eligible under the voter approved projects. And then importantly for the district or for the PPRTA board to understand is that it does have an indemnification in here so that if there were any claims against the PPRTA, that Manitou Springs has agreed to indemnify the PPRTA for that, which is important since we're not parties to those agreements. So we're not benefiting from insurance or indemnifications under those contracts. So other than that, yeah, that's really it. This is in line with the dollar amounts and the approvals that were provided in the spring and just replaces that.
Okay, very good. Any questions on the reason for the IGA or the mechanics? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Mayor Dixon, I'll move to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Commissioner Williams, second.
Very good. A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Thanks, Karen.
Thank you.
7E is also City of Manitou Springs.
Yeah, so this is a PPRTA 2 capital project funding request. The city of Manitou Springs went out to bid for Creek Walk Trail 4. The bids came in higher for the qualified bidders than expected. And so recognizing that there were $215,000 approximately left in a PPRTA 2 project for City of Manitou Springs. And it happens to be downtown sidewalk drainage and utilities. And so it fits perfectly with what this project is doing, is adding a 10-foot sidewalk trail along the north side of Manitou Avenue. So this is project request to go under contract with West Fork Construction with a PPRTA contribution of $100,000 for construction.
Okay. Any questions on this item? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Mayor Dixon, I'll move to approve.
Thank you. Second?
Commissioner Williams, second.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to 8, member government and other reports. City of Colorado Springs Transit Services monthly update.
Thank you. Line Rail Transit Division Manager, Mountain Metro Transit. This is an information item in your packet. It's our monthly transit update. On the ridership side, we were able to participate in the state's zero fare program. So we have June, July, and August 3 months this year that we are able to participate in this zero fare program. As a result, you could see the ridership has really increased for June. In June of 2023, that was the same month that we were able to provide zero fare. Comparing to June 2023, our ridership has increased as well, in addition to increase from 2024 level. Under the transit highlights section, I would like to inform the board that we are currently in the public period, open comment period for our proposed fall service change. Transit normally conducts 2 service changes each year during the spring and fall. Those service changes could be as large as a system overhaul or could be as small as taking rider comments, moving bus stop location, or adjusting schedules. So this service change is a little bit of a both, combination of both. We are adding a few bus stops on a few transit route. We're extending the end point for one route, Route 9, serving UCCS campus, basically moving the stop closer to their student housing, on-campus housing. And we're also extending on Route 33, which is the Manitou Springs route going up the incline and cog rail to Manitou Springs newly constructed Dillon Mobility lot. So with that, you will see these detailed proposals on our website, and our public comment period closes tomorrow. Once we receive those comments, we will compile them, looking to majority of them are normally for the service change, but some are just in general about general services. So we will compile those comments and move forward from there. Also, as part of this service change, we are informing the public that starting next year, we are adjusting our service change timing. Currently, we have spring service change at the end of April and fall service change at the end of September. But with Manitou Springs peak season, we are aligning our service change to better serve Manitou Springs. So we're extending our peak season. Basically, the new service change in the spring would be end of March, and the fall service change would be end of October to better align with the peak tourist season. So that's my report. Happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Lan. Any questions on the report? Okay, great.
Thank you.
8B, City of Colorado Springs request for PPRTA to serve as the grant recipient for Senate Bill 260 and Senate Bill 267 funding for Mountain Metro Transit Mobility Hubs at Pikes Peak State College North.
Well, Mr. Chair, Gail Sturter with the City of Colorado Springs again. So as we've mentioned before, Policy 31 is put in place for PPRTA to serve as a grant recipient for state funds to really help us with any kind of Tabor issues we'd run across as we accept these grant funds, and particularly with the transportation programs that have come in place with some of the Senate bills in the last 4 years. So it's really important for us to have this tool. Today, I'm asking for PPRTA to serve as the recipient for funds that were identified in Senate Bills 267 and 260 that are for a north and south mobility hubs. And for the City of Colorado Springs, those are intended to be Pikes Peak State Colleges, both North and South Campus, the Rampart and Centennial Campus. We've had a lot of really great coordination with the university to be able to do that. And then those two totals would be 10.5 million. And there's also some additional funds, 850,000 for high capacity corridor improvements within El Paso County, and those funds are be allocated to Mountain Metro to help provide more express service is really what we're hoping to be able to go through and do. So in total, these three projects would amount to 11.35 million. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to talk with you about it. But we would really appreciate your support to serve as the recipient on our behalf.
Great. Any questions for Gail? This is an action item, so I would entertain a motion to approve. Okay, we have a motion from Kimberly Gold. Is there a second?
I'll second John Graham.
Very good. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great. 8C, City of Colorado Springs monthly change order and property acquisition report.
Yes, Mr. Chair, both these items are in your packet. For informational items, I'd be happy to answer questions if you have any.
Any questions? That's easy.
Great, thank you.
8D, El Paso County monthly change order and property acquisition report.
Likewise, willing to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Josh? You guys are easy. Okay. Item 9, the agenda topics for next meeting. Anything in particular out of the ordinary, exciting? Okay. Any member announcements? Wow. Okay. Nothing. All right, that's fine. We will then move on to the adjournment, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, don't stay longer.